Now, whenever I think about Kathleen Kennedy, I think back to the WandaVision series. It was Agatha all along. That song keeps rolling on my head now. It was Kathleen Kennedy all along. That's exactly how I see things when it comes to Disney Star Wars and the current state of Indiana Jones, what happened to the Willow series, and everything Kathleen Kennedy has touched. And it really is all agenda-driven garbage that is coming from her, that is being placed onto our iconic heroes that we all grew up with, and of course the fandoms around the world. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into what's going on with Kathleen Kennedy. Now, we know one thing about Kathy Kennedy is that she is very much defensive over this movie for several reasons. Now, we know because one of the major reasons being is that it affects her image over at Lucasfilm as the president of the company. We also know that her job is on the line. There has been a lot of discussions happening behind the scenes over at the Disney board and more related to the executives about wanting to actually get rid of her and axe her from Lucasfilm, and that really is also a big divide. We have a lot of board members that defend Kathleen Kennedy regardless of what she does. And then there's other board members that really want to get rid of her as soon as possible. Her contract is a very complex one, and it has been going on for years. Now, we know that there's a lot of people standing by that are actually getting ready to take over Kathleen Kennedy. The top of the list is Neil H. Moritz, Dana Brunetti, and of course Simon Kinberg. Alright, very big producers out there to different varying degrees. But one thing about all of this is that with Kathleen Kennedy still trying to upsell Indy 5, as it is struggling at the box office, she recently had some low things to say about the fandom of Indiana Jones in response to both the current backlash and the box office results. Now, Kennedy delivered the following. We have been analyzing the fan reception for this film, and we have noticed nothing but great responses to this movie. We advise everyone to place your judgment carefully based on false reviews on social media and those that are being very loud and opinionated about the film, that are attempting to drive away ticket purchases. Social media is one of our top challenges to make a film successful today, since we deal with many loud, opinionated individuals that try to steer away success from our projects like Dial of Destiny, Skeleton Crew, and the upcoming Acolyte series, plus more. We have been working so hard on these projects, and we are strongly advising everyone to give this film a chance. We pay no attention and have no respect for individuals trying to convince others to not check out our masterpiece of a film by Mr. Mangold. Now guys, let me stop here, okay, before I get to the next piece, is that what this all translates to is that she's afraid of the truth that is spewing on social media about all the fans really kind of delivering their true opinion about this on Metacritic. And I do find it quite suspicious how there's a great comparison between Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. A lot of you guys, by the way, have been coming forward, and maybe you guys could elaborate on this, but a lot of you that tried to post reviews on Rotten Tomatoes were not showing up on Rotten Tomatoes, and I find that to be very odd and suspicious, and yet if you go on Metacritic, it posts them immediately. So yeah, that's a little strange there. I know a lot of people have been questioning the validity of Rotten Tomatoes, and there's been a lot of debate over this, and look, I stand here and I remain, quite objective over what is true and what's not with Rotten Tomatoes. I know that there's a lot of aspects that are led people to believe that Rotten Tomatoes is very shady, and I respect that. And the comparison between that and Metacritic is really showing you that, yeah, there is some level of, inconsistency of validity of Rotten Tomatoes there. So, moving toward the next big thing here, this is where things begin to get even shadier, is that Kathleen Kennedy, alright, is really trying to, from what it appears, shame fans about how they don't support diversity, apparently, and they don't support equality and female empowerment, yada yada yada, right? Meanwhile, that's not the problem. The problem is the way that they are trying to force it into the films that devalue our fan-favorite characters, our great franchises that we grew up with as either kids or young adults, whatever it may be, and that's what the people have an issue with. You know, it's not about any of that, it's about how it's executed. Now, she goes on to state further, James and Steven poured their heart and soul into this, and with the help of Phoebe, she contributed to excellent forms of storytelling for this film that we could not just pass up. Fans who won't accept diversity, equality, and female empowerment in our films are the true problem for the film industry, and our goal is to normalize all of this by creating a well-balanced form of storytelling from multiple projects onwards. These fans are simply not fans who don't support our goals in the film industry. We have full faith that this will be our most successful Lucasfilm project in many years, regardless of what the media outlets provide to the general public. After you see this film, it truly changes your view on the INDY franchise. It's quite beautiful, and Mangold provided us that perfected vision. Now again, guys, about Indy 5, we talked about this yesterday, really exposing about everything that did happen behind closed doors, about how Kennedy was the one responsible for going way over budget with Indy 5 to nearly $300 million. And that's all on her, by the way. She was requesting Disney and Lucasfilm, or Disney I should say, she was requesting Disney for Lucasfilm to have a very high budget with this film for all of the CG work, all of the set builds, all of the deepfake / de-aging technology getting poured into, many scenes that ended up getting deleted. It was a mess. It really was production hell, if not worse than that of Solo: A Star Wars Story. Well, you know what? I'm not quite sure if it was quite as worse, because Solo, she reshot like 80% of that thing, which really set them back like millions upon millions of dollars, mind you. Plus, they had to hire Ron Howard to come on board. That was a very costly thing to do. But look, this is definitely a very big fail on Kathleen Kennedy. And even though it is the second biggest one over at Lucasfilm, this should really be enough to get her fired. Now, we know that initially the board members had this plan, and it's still happening to this day, that depending on the box office success and or failure, it would determine her exit plan or her firing plan, whatever have you, to move along by this August. So you can't ignore this. The fact that Disney's CEO Bob Iger is beginning to, from what it appears to be like, he's seemingly remaining more quiet about this entire situation, I think it goes to show you that he just wants to roll with the overall challenges and kind of improve himself and to improve his legacy and only think for himself as he rolls through the release of The Haunted Mansion by the later portion of this month as we head into November with Disney's Wish and the Marvels. Followed by that, we have a lot of upcoming Disney releases for 2024 that could very well potentially be more box office disasters. We'll be covering that as well, by the way. So guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.